Not every great movie becomes a success. Some films were ignored, sabotaged, and quietly buried by Hollywood itself. Despite brilliant acting, unforgettable stories, and critical praise, these masterpieces disappeared while far worse movies became blockbusters. Today, we're uncovering the films Hollywood tried to erase from history. And trust me, the number one choice is absolutely criminal. 10. Out of the Blue. One of the most emotionally devastating and overlooked films of its era. Starring young actress Linda Manz, the movie follows a troubled teenage girl trapped inside a broken family filled with addiction, violence, and emotional neglect. Hollywood struggled to market the film because of its raw realism, disturbing subject matter, and bleak atmosphere. Unlike polished mainstream dramas, Out of the Blue felt painfully authentic and emotionally unpredictable. 9. The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford is now considered one of the greatest modern westerns ever made. Released in 2007, the film stars Brad Pitt as legendary outlaw Jesse James and Casey Affleck as the insecure admirer who ultimately betrays him. Despite receiving critical praise, the movie struggled commercially because Hollywood failed to market its slow, poetic storytelling style to mainstream audiences expecting traditional Western action. What makes the film extraordinary is its haunting cinematography, emotional depth, and meditative exploration of fame, obsession, and loneliness. 8. The Big Red One. One of the most realistic and emotionally powerful war films ever created. Inspired by Fuller's own experiences during World War II, the movie follows a group of American soldiers surviving brutal battles across Europe. Starring Lee Marvin and Mark Hamill, the film focused less on patriotic heroism and more on the psychological exhaustion and emotional trauma of war. Unfortunately, the studio heavily edited the movie before release, removing important scenes and damaging Fuller's original vision. For years, the film remained overlooked despite strong performances and unforgettable battle sequences. 7. Sorcerer. One of Hollywood's most infamous examples of a brilliant film destroyed by terrible timing and poor studio support. Released in 1977, the movie follows desperate criminals transporting dangerously unstable explosives through deadly jungle terrain. Starring Roy Scheider, the film delivered nerve-shattering suspense and stunning visual filmmaking. Unfortunately, it premiered shortly after Star Wars completely changed Hollywood entertainment, causing audiences to ignore darker and more serious films like Sorcerer. 6. Brazil. The center of one of the biggest creative battles between a filmmaker and a Hollywood studio, that the movie presented a darkly surreal vision of a bureaucratic nightmare society filled with government surveillance, absurd rules, and psychological paranoia. Universal Pictures disliked the film's bleak tone and confusing style, attempting to cut and re-edit it into a more commercial version. Terry Gilliam fought publicly against the studio to protect his artistic vision, turning the conflict into a famous Hollywood controversy. 5. Margaret. One of the most tragic examples of a brilliant film destroyed by studio conflicts and editing disputes. Released in 2011 after years of delays, the movie stars Anna Paquin as a teenager emotionally struggling after witnessing a terrible accident in New York City. The film explores guilt, emotional confusion, grief, and moral responsibility with extraordinary emotional realism. However, behind-the-scenes arguments over the movie's running time caused endless delays, lawsuits, and poor marketing that nearly buried the project completely. 4. Cutter's Way. One of the greatest overlooked neo-noir thrillers ever made. The film stars Jeff Bridges and John Hurd in a dark story involving corruption, paranoia, and emotional despair in post-Vietnam America. Hollywood struggled to market the movie because it refused to follow traditional thriller formulas. Instead of flashy action scenes, the film focused heavily on broken characters dealing with trauma, cynicism, and disillusionment. John Hurd delivered one of the finest performances of his career as the self-destructive and bitter Alex Cutter, a disabled Vietnam veteran consumed by anger and obsession. 3. Odd Thomas. A heartbreaking example of a creative and entertaining film buried by legal and financial problems. Released in 2013, the movie stars Anton Yelchin as a young man with supernatural abilities who can communicate with the dead while trying to stop an approaching disaster. Blending horror, comedy, mystery, and emotional drama, the film delivered a surprisingly heartfelt and imaginative story. However, distribution issues prevented the movie from receiving proper promotion or a major theatrical release. As a result, many audiences never even heard about it despite positive reactions from viewers who discovered it later. 2. Idiocracy. One of the strangest cases of Hollywood quietly abandoning a movie despite its originality and intelligence. The film stars Luke Wilson as an average man who wakes up centuries in the future to discover society has become unbelievably unintelligent and completely controlled by consumer culture. The movie's satirical humor attacked politics, media, advertising, and declining education in ways that made some studios uncomfortable. As a result, the film received almost no marketing and an extremely limited release. Despite poor box office performance, audiences later discovered the movie online and through home video, helping it become a massive cult classic. Over time, many viewers began joking that Idiocracy felt less like comedy and more like prophecy. By 2026, the film remains one of the most famous examples of Hollywood burying a movie that later became culturally influential and widely discussed. 1. Togo. It quietly became one of the most emotional and inspiring adventure films of recent years despite receiving far less attention than it deserved. Directed by Ericson Core and starring Willem Dafoe, the movie tells the true story of a heroic sled dog and his owner risking their lives during a dangerous Alaskan mission to deliver life-saving medicine. Many viewers compared the film favorably to bigger Hollywood productions and praised its emotional storytelling, breathtaking cinematography, and powerful performances. However, because it was released primarily through streaming platforms without major theatrical promotion, the movie never achieved widespread mainstream recognition. Audiences who discovered it later were often shocked by how emotionally moving and beautifully crafted it was. Willem Dafoe's performance especially earned strong praise for its emotional depth and sincerity. By 2026, Togo is widely regarded as one of the most underrated family adventure dramas of the modern streaming era. And there you have it, 10 perfect films that Hollywood tried to bury, ignore, or quietly push aside despite their incredible artistic quality. Thankfully, passionate movie fans and critics refuse to let these masterpieces disappear forever. Whether through restored versions, cult followings, or streaming rediscovery, these films eventually earned the appreciation they truly deserved. Which of these hidden masterpieces surprised you the most? Let us know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video for more hidden Hollywood stories, movie countdowns, and classic cinema retrospectives right here on Hollywood Pulse. Thanks for watching.